Hey friends, it is July, and July for me is one of the biggest harvesting months of the summer gardening season. And so today, come along with me as we harvest the garden. But y'all, look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So beautiful. If you are brand new here, my name is Barbara, and yes, I'm this hype all the time because I get excited about growing food. But I live in Tennessee in Zone 7B, and what we're sitting in right now is one of my gardening spaces, which is my outside in-ground garden. It's 4,000 square feet. We have 8 rows that are 100 feet in length. And so this is where we're going to start this morning. I have several things to harvest, but I'm going to start with the low-hanging fruit first, literally. And we're going to start, I think, on the rattlesnake beans and go ahead and get them. And then our big project is to harvest this corn. So rock with me today as we go through the garden and do one of our big harvests of the season. And if you are new here, please say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're coming in from, what city, state, and country, so I can say hello back to you and welcome you to my channel. And if you've been here before, you know how much I appreciate you. So let's get to it. So we have been in the middle of a heat wave all week long. And so the temperatures have been so extreme. It's been heat index 110 to 115. And so this particular time of the video, I am out here early in the morning, which I really never garden early in the morning just because it's not the best for my schedule. But I made a sacrifice and I'm out here at 6:30 in the morning, which is why it's bright and all of that, because I was just trying to beat the heat because I haven't been able to garden enough hours in the day just to keep up. So we start with the rattlesnake beans. As you can see here, things are in full effect in the garden. So I'm looking around first to see where my rattlesnake beans start, because on this 100-foot trellis we have purple whole peas at the beginning, and then it splits into rattlesnake beans, and then at the very end we have tomatoes. So I get my gloves on and we start to harvest the rattlesnake beans. I'm also noticing while I'm out here that I have some Japanese beetle damage on the rattlesnake beans. You can kind of see that in the upper right hand corner, which again, the Japanese beetle has definitely been the insect that I have seen the most this particular summer. But we get in here to harvest our rattlesnake beans. In case you're not familiar with rattlesnake beans, because I was not either until last year, it is a bean that grows on a vine on a trellis. So you do need some trellising support, but it looks like a green bean, and you can actually eat it as a green bean, or you can let it dry, and then the inside bean is like a pinto bean, and that's what I do. So I don't actually use them as green beans. I planted them for the first time last summer, and I absolutely loved it. I did it at the end of the summer as part of either my second or third succession planting, and so I only got, I think I did like 8 plants, and I was able to get like a quart-sized jar of beans, and I had 2 servings of those beans, and they were so good that I was sold that I would always have these in my garden. So this year I planted way more. And again, maybe I will try them as a green bean this year, but I really don't want them as green beans. I really want them for that dried bean on the inside. So if you've never tried rattlesnake beans, I certainly encourage you to try it. It only takes about 70 days. And so if you're in a long growing season, you can still put some in the ground right now, because the first time that I planted some, I want to say it was in July of last year. So I'm picking these beans. I'll let you see what all we get, but the garden is looking so beautiful. If you were here with me before at the beginning of the season, one of the things that I prayed for and that I verbalized up front was that this year I wanted my garden to be productive, as always, in abundance, but I wanted it to be beautiful. And I feel like the Lord has answered my prayer, because when I come out to my garden, it is just beautiful to me. I love flowers, and I tripled the amount of flowers that I put in my garden this year because I have the space, and I'm fortunate to have the space to be able to do that. But it just makes me happy. And one of the things that I always say is that make your garden a place that you want to come to. It is a lot of hard work. It is not for the faint. It is not for the weak. It is for he that endureth unto the end. But if you're going to have to be out here in the heat, fighting the pests, fighting the wasps, at least make it a place that you want to come to. So maybe flowers are not your thing. Maybe it's a pretty bench. Maybe it's a pretty stool. Whatever it is, make the garden special for you. Y'all, It's hot out here. I caught myself coming out here early, which I don't normally garden in the morning just because I got my own morning routine. But today I made an exception. Y'all, I've been out here an hour. I came out here at 6:30 this morning. It's now 7:30. And I feel like I have not accomplished much. Let me show you. So here are the rattlesnake beans. So we got, I would say, almost, I guess, a half of this bucket of rattlesnake beans, which is good for our first one. And then we got these cucumbers. And there's plenty more. That's just from a couple of plants in the outside garden. Then I have a yellow squash. So now it's hard for me to, because everything is growing so nicely and it is full out here, it's hard for me to get the camera kind of in and out. So I'm sorry that I'm not giving you like some up close footage of me actually picking the stuff. But I see a couple of okra, and we already know the story about okra. She's a diva. She's like, pick me today or I will not be ready for you tomorrow. So we're going to pick her. I see a few green beans. My husband came out here and harvested last night. And I'll show you the total harvest at the end of this video so you can see what we picked. And so this is, y'all, just literally less than 12 hours later. And I'm out here picking more stuff. So let me see if I got some clip. Oh, yeah, I do. Let's see what else we can get on this okra and green bean row. I'm just now starting to see okra for the first time on the okra plants, and it kind of surprised me, meaning I just didn't know it was there, which means, of course, they're overgrown because we know that okra is very temperamental. We know that okra is very demanding. You have to pick her every single day. And I didn't even know she was there. So the okra that I'm getting off, they're just big and overgrown. So I'm going to get those off so that hopefully we can get the new fresh okra tomorrow. But then I move on down to the green beans. I have about 3 green bean plants right in here. I had planted more, but they did not germinate when I did it by direct seed. For whatever reason, I just have more success when I sprout my green bean seeds and transplant them into the ground. For whatever reason. And so I only have like 3 plants here, but I have green beans in other places in my garden, and I need to up it because I want to have enough green beans for a whole year. But I go ahead and pick what's on these 3 green beans, which my husband had brought in some last night, so there's not very many. He actually did a really good job of cleaning the plant. And so green beans, usually they may not be back on the vine until like the next, I don't know, 2-3 days. But the green beans that I grow are jade, which are a bush variety. I then move over to the next couple of rows over, which is the spicy pepper row. And then to the left of that are the watermelons. You can see that's not ground cover. That is watermelons and cantaloupe all over the place. But I start to harvest the peppers. We're just now getting peppers in, which is a little bit later than what we normally do. But one thing about peppers, they can be slower, very much slower than tomatoes. But once they get going, and mine don't usually get going like really, really well until towards the end of the summer, towards the fall. So like usually around August when my tomatoes are petering out, my peppers, they like jump into production nonstop, and they will be that way all the way until the first frost. So they definitely make up for it. But usually my jalapenos are the first ones to be ready to be harvested, and that's what I'm picking now. But they're usually ready like a couple of weeks before. My plants are small right now, and I have weeds growing in the same hole as the jalapeno plants just because they're small. And so I think that has definitely impacted and affected the jalapenos. But even though they're small, I was surprised we did have jalapenos. My husband came in last night and he had, I would say, half a bucket of jalapenos, and now I'm picking a few more. Also in this row, I have some serranos, I have some Anaheim, and I have a couple of red ember, which is a cayenne pepper. So we split our peppers into spicy and non-spicy rows just to kind of avoid cross-pollination, because one year, this is before I knew better, I had them all in the same row, and I noticed that some of my bell peppers like had a spicy hint to it, which you want your sweet peppers to be sweet and you want your spicy to be spicy. So where I can, I try to intentionally separate them. So this row is the spicy pepper row, which is row number 7. And then the non-spicy pepper row is actually row number 1. Okay, guys, I got pretty much 3/4 of a basket of jalapeno peppers. These peppers are right here. I'm not sure what they are because the label was not in there. It was on the spicy row, but they look like Ashvarsky to me. I'm not sure what they are, but we got this as well to add to our collection. Okay, y'all. It's hot, but I want to go ahead and get this corn. One of the things about when you harvest your corn, it needs to be processed or cooked to get the best quality within 12 hours. Y'all, I'm out of breath because it is hot. And so because I have kind of a free day to take care of it, I want to go ahead and harvest it and get it over with so that I have the day to process it versus trying to harvest it this evening. So let's see what we can get done. This corn was started from seed. And it was planted in the ground like the last week of April. By the time it was planted in the ground, it was probably already 5 to 6 weeks old. And so now it's the first part of July. It only takes about 80 days. And you can tell that it is ready to be harvested. And so one of the ways you can tell that corn is ready to be harvested is, one, know when you plant it, know what variety, and know how long the harvest to maturity. So this is peaches and cream, and it takes about 80 days, 90 max. And so I know that it's been in the ground for at least the last 6 weeks. Plus it was started about 4 weeks ahead of that. And that puts me right around 75 days. The other way that you can tell is that the tassels coming out of the corn are brown. And so if you've never gone through corn, it goes through a process. But once you get to this final stage, you'll see that the tassels are brown. And you can go ahead and harvest your corn. Now, what I did was the day before I came out here and I harvested one corn and I tested it to make sure that it was good. And yes, it was very, very good. So another thing that you can do with your corn is that if you want to just press a kernel, you should have like a white milky substance that literally pops out, like almost like you would dart because it would get in your face. That's how you want it to kind of eject, for lack of a better term, from the corn. When it does not do that, that means the corn has probably been on there too long and it's not as fresh. Ask me how I know because I've done it before. In previous years, I had always waited too long to pick my corn, and so the corn looked nice, but in terms of the texture, when I tried to eat it, it wasn't. It was almost like more chewy and soft. It wasn't the right texture, even though it had a great flavor. And that was because I kept waiting to see if it was going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until I waited too late to harvest it. And so you definitely don't want to do that. So know the variety. Know how many days it takes from harvest to maturity, or time to maturity, and of course know when you planted it, and of course look at the corn. So those 4 things should keep you on track of when to harvest your corn. Now, because I have a long growing season, I'm able to harvest this corn, I can rip it out, and then I can replant corn again because I have 80 days, more than 80 days left. Now, I've already started the corn, so that's going to work in my favor. The corn was probably started about 3 to 4 weeks ago. So I'm already a month ahead, which is great. Last year when I did my succession planting of corn, I did not start my succession until this point right here when I was harvesting my corn, because I was so surprised that it was already ready in July. That was my first time growing this variety, but now I know. The other thing when it comes with peaches and cream corn is that you'll usually get only 2 ears per stalk, and the top ear will be a lot bigger than the bottom ear. I did not know that until now when somebody was telling me that. So if you're growing peaches and cream, just know that. So I am literally just getting in here. As you can see, it is very weedy, but food wants to grow, and it will grow. And so we still have corn. This particular patch in the landscape fabric is different than everywhere else on this outside garden. We have prefabricated holes that are 6 inches apart, going kind of like every which way. And so the corn is
planted about 6 inches apart, which is great for pollination. You want your corn to be close together. You don't want it to be so far away, because most corn, if not all, is wind pollinated. So hopefully that helps, but I'm excited to show you my harvest of corn. And then also in an upcoming video after this one, you'll see me bring the corn in the house and see exactly what I'm going to do with it. Okay, y'all, now I'm in my car. It's about 8:30 in the morning, and it's already just too hot. We're under a heat wave, and so that has been a challenge this week, in that the hours to spend time outside in the garden has like reduced significantly. So I was out there for 2 hours. I feel like I was out there for 45 minutes, just with the amount of stuff that I actually got done. And then we have usually like maybe an hour and a half in the evening where it's pleasant. And y'all, that's it. That is it. Versus when we had the no rain and milder weather, you had plenty of time to be outside in the garden. But that's the gardening life. You're subject to the weather. Definitely not complaining. We definitely needed the sun and not any more rain, but the sun is sunning. So y'all, it's 8:30 in the morning. I got half of the corn. There's still the other half of the rows out there. I just couldn't get it done. So I had my husband come down there and pick up the basket for me to take in the house. So I'll process the half that I have, and then hopefully we'll get the other half this evening. So I'll meet you back the next time I'm in the garden. Okay, y'all, it's another day. It feels better today. The heat wave finally ended yesterday. It's been 3 days since I shot the first part of this video, but let us go ahead and reclaim the rest of this corn. That's the first thing we're going to do in terms of harvesting. I will tell you, in the past 3 days, I have tasted, and let me tell you, the corn is good. The corn is good. I had it on top of a burrito bowl this weekend. It was so good. So let's just get to it. We only have an hour before it gets dark. It was much more pleasant temperature-wise to harvest the corn on this day. As you can see, y'all, the part that I've already harvested, the part in front of me, is a complete mess. It is hard to kind of get through because the spacing that we have here is every 6 inches. And so in between both of the rows of corn is an open space, and the weeds have grown in that space. Hard to manage just because of all of the rain, and it's just hard to manage because it's just a lot. But what I did was, the part that I had already harvested, in order for me to kind of get through and get across, I kind of trampled on it because that corn is going to be pulled up. If you don't know that, once a corn produces its corn stalks, it's not going to reproduce anymore. So once you harvest your corn, it's done. You just have to pull it up. And we're going to be pulling this up because we're going to actually plant more corn. And so I was kind of like just trampling and like stepping down on it so that it wouldn't be so tall, so I could kind of get through. So you can see here, I'm near the middle part of the corn section, and I'm pulling off the ears as I can, and it's going pretty well. I'm doing like 4 or 5 at a time, and then I'm having to come back to my bucket just because I can't hold it all, and I can't scoop the bucket in because the bucket is heavy. So anyway, I just worked through this, and I'll show you at the end how much corn we end up getting, but it seems to be about as much as we did on the first round. Y'all, that was rough. Here's the aftermath. It's so thick. And then because I have all the weeds on this side, I had to fight to get through. And so as I would pull the corn, I would just throw the whole vine over or stalk over and just step on it just so I could see on the other side. And man, that about tore my back up reaching across there. But let me show you the reward. Let me show you the reward. Okay, I use one of these yellow totes. It's pretty much full. This is probably the same amount that I got a few days ago. I didn't count, but it looks like 30 ears of corn. Y'all, gardening is not for the faint. It's not for the weak. It is for he that endures to the end.
Come on, somebody. Oh my goodness. Okay, we don't have time to pity. We got stuff to do. We got to move. So let's go over to the okra. Of course, I see some overgrown. So let's just get rid of the ones that's overgrown, and we'll see if we have any that are not overgrown. Because we all know that okra, say it with me, okra is a diva. Okra is like, pick me today, or you're not gonna get it. When I'm ready, I'm ready. Pick me today. You gotta pick okra every day. But since we haven't been out here in 2 days, hey, it was a monsoon. What can I say? But let's go over here and see what we got.
I seriously have this love-hate relationship when it comes to okra because I like okra. I want to have okra in my garden. I want to have it accessible to me. But okra requires you to just be a stay-at-home person with no life in order for y'all to get along. I'm just saying. I mean, I am mostly in my garden every day, except when I'm out of town, it's rainy, or, I'm out doing something else. But for the most part, I try to hit my garden every day, like most of us. But okra says, if you don't come get me every day, look, I'm breaking up with you. I'm not gonna be with you. Like, it's just high maintenance. It's a high maintenance diva plant. And so I keep toying around with, why do I grow okra? Well, because I like it. But okra gets on my nerves. You see me, do you see me just throwing that okra in there? Because all of those are overgrown. And what happens when they're overgrown is they don't taste good, right? They get woody, they're hard to cut. Now, what I hadn't thought about, I wonder if I can take the overgrown ones and put them in my freeze dryer and they still taste good. I freeze dry regular okra, like when it's good and soft and short and all that. And of course, it tastes great, freeze dried or air dried. But I wonder if the woody ones would do the same thing. And I've reduced the number. I remember when the first or the second year I grew okra, I had like 20 plants, not knowing what I was doing, not being intentional, had no idea how okra grew, and I could not keep up. So I have greatly reduced the number of okra plants that I do just to kind of keep it manageable. So I think I have 8 right here, either 8 or 10. I don't go above 10. And again, I get enough okra to last me for a year. I still have, I think, 2 packs left in the freezer.
Okay, guys, so it was hard to get the camera in all the places, but I was able to get some green beans, 2 Jimmy Nardellos, about 3 okra that were not overgrown, and then a whole basket of tomatoes. So these tomatoes are the first ones that we've been able to harvest from the outside, except like onesie twosies. So this is the most we've gotten from the outside. It's a mix of Romas, Marmango, which is a new one that I'm trying, and Amish paste. I see that some of them have a little bit of damage, and I don't even think that's damage. That might just be a little bit of mark. There's a little mark right there, but it's not nicked all the way through, so it may be okay. But Amish paste, they're huge, a great paste tomato. Oh, I also have some Romas too, that were on the vine. So y'all, we have one more thing to harvest. Remember these red onions? We harvested half the bed. Y'all were fussing at me. It's like, they weren't even flopping over. Why'd you pull them? Y'all was just, that particular day, I was like, are they gonna do anything? Y'all, I came over here and pulled one. Yeah, they're gonna do something. They did something. Absolutely. So because I didn't write my dates down of when I planned this bed, this was like after the fact. They just were not ready as soon as the other one. So much bigger than what we pulled before. So we got half a bed to pull. This is the only basket I could find, y'all. So let's pull these up quick, fast, in a hurry because I'm about to lose daylight. Some of these are still small, but some of these are much bigger. And because we've had so much rain the last 3 days, I need to go ahead and get them so that they don't rot, because they are definitely wet. And we'll throw these in the hot tunnel to let them dry and cure. I'm moving fast. Oh, that's a nice size one. I'm so glad I didn't pull all of the bed because they just were not ready the day that I pulled them. And yes, they are flopping over now, for sure. Got a little weed growing in this bed. Oh yeah, these are much better. and they are definitely wet. Y'all know what I'm gonna do with this basket, but this is all I got after all the harvesting. Oh, oh yeah, y'all, this is soaking wet. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, nice size. That's a nice size. Oh, that is huge. Wow. See, that's why you gotta know your dates and when you put stuff in the ground, especially when you don't do it all at the same time. And these I did after the fact, after I had some space in this bed. So they were a little bit further behind. And I've never harvested onions this late. Weeds, all this rain. There's another one. That's a weed, but I want the dirt. Okay, so we have another bed that's clear, that if we wanted to plant some stuff in, we absolutely can. Y'all, I don't even have space, but I cannot leave these onions out here because it's supposed to rain again tomorrow. It's supposed to rain for the rest of the week. So I gotta figure out something to get these onions out of here. But I'll do that once I say goodbye to y'all. I think we've done all that we can do in terms of harvesting. I got some bell peppers, but I want them to blush before I take them. And then we have some more tomatoes like right on the cusp. But why don't we end this video with harvesting some flowers for a beautiful flower bouquet.
One of my prayers over my garden this particular summer is that I asked the Lord to give me a productive garden, one of abundance, but I also wanted a beautiful garden. And He has answered my prayer. This row brings me so much joy. Now, some may see it as wasted space because I have 100 feet row of nothing but flowers. But for me, it brings me so much joy to see all of these beautiful flowers. I absolutely love flowers, and it serves a dual purpose. Now, I call this pollinator row because you want to have flowers in your garden to bring in the pollinators, because that's how your plants get pollinated, and that's a key to having abundance, right? You want to make sure that you have pollinators in your garden. And so you want to invite them to come and let them know this is a good place to be. But secondly, it just brings so much beauty to your garden, especially if you're into flowers or aesthetics and things like that. But then the third thing is I get the chance to come out here and bring beautiful bouquets into my house every single week for free. I don't have to call a florist. I don't have to have a flower subscription. And trust me, I've had a flower subscription before, which is a great thing to have if you're into flowers. But during the summer, I just come out here to my heart's content and just harvest flowers. And so while I'm out here now, I'm getting some bouquets. I'm going to do 2 different bouquets. And so when I'm picking the flowers that I'm going to do for the summer, I try to get a mix of colors. And of course, you can go with whatever colors palette that you like. So I have pinks, I have yellows, I have oranges. I'm not really big into red or purple flowers. That's usually not my thing. But pinks, yellows, oranges, whites, things like that, I love. So in this row, I have zinnias, I have black-eyed Susans, I have cosmos, I have celosia, I have some corkscomb, I have some dahlias that have not yet bloomed, I have sunflowers, I have marigolds, and so I have a mix of flowers, but I would say the majority of them are zinnias in all different color palettes, shapes, and sizes. And so I'm so excited to be able to do this. And one of the things when I first started growing flowers in my garden, I didn't take the time to harvest the bouquets and bring them into my house because, of course, tomatoes and peppers are always more important, right? That's like the prime crops during the summer. And just because in the summertime, I mean, I'm dealing with limited time always, but in the summertime, there's so much abundance, which is a blessing. but it is hard to keep up with all of the harvesting and everything that you have to do. But on this particular day, I took the time to be intentional, to not just enjoy seeing my flowers in the garden every time I come out here, but I'll be able to see them in my house every single day that I walk by. So here's a lesson. If flowers are your thing, definitely grow more flowers and make sure that you bring them into your house for beautiful bouquets. If flowers are not your thing, then whatever your thing is, do that. All I'm saying is be intentional about the space that you want to create for your garden. And again, I am 6 years in and I'm just now really cultivating that lesson. When I first started gardening, I was just trying to throw seeds in the ground and just trying to learn. And so whatever part of the journey you're on, that's okay. But make the garden a place that you want to come to. So y'all see, I'm on my way back now with all of these beautiful flowers. And I cannot wait to have them in my house.
This makes me so happy. So very happy. So these are all flowers from Pollinator Row that I grew. I'm gonna put them in water, take them to the house, strip them down, make me a beautiful bouquet. I even grabbed some purple basil there as a filler. And then I think I have some baby's breath in my high tunnel that I'm growing. So I'm very, very excited. These are all rich colors. This is the first time I've been successful at growing like a lighter color, like an ivory. These are all zinnias, different shades, as you can see, but I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today's video as we did our harvesting. The major thing was our corn, but also, and in an upcoming video, you'll see what I do with the corn as well. So if you want to know what I do with the corn, you will see that, plus how I do some of these other veggies. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that your gardens are doing oh so well. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Remember, y'all, gardening is a journey. What we gonna do? We gonna grow together. See you next time, friends.
Thanks so much for stopping by our channel. And if you would, take a moment and go to our website at livingfoodsfarm.com. You can see all of the latest YouTube videos in case you missed one. You can subscribe to the channel, sign up for our email list, as well as join our YouTube membership. Also, we have many items for sale under the shop tab. You can go to kitchen or to skin and body, depending on what you're looking for. We source many of the items right here from things that we grow on the farm or we buy from an organic source. We also have digital resources as well that you can instantly download. We have everything from seed starting calculators, how to build healthy soil, as well as 2-hour classes, replays on sourdough, canning, and fall gardening, and how to start your garden for the very first time. So go take a look, see if there's anything that you would be interested in. And thank you so much again for stopping by our channel.